But this time it's actually good. So there is a member of parliament called Andrew Wilkie. And if you imagine what a boomer looks like, this is the most boomer looking man that you have ever seen. Like, he's got the fucking Vegeta hairline, his hair is all white, he's got reading glasses. This is a boomer. This is like peak boomer. But he's trying to do something good. This man he's got like a vendetta against the entire gambling industry. He fucking hates the gambling industry and will do anything in his power to regulate the shit out of it. And what he wants to do is include loot boxes inside of that definition of gambling. And if a game has loot boxes, doesn't matter if it's Genshin Impact, doesn't matter if it's fucking Bejeweled, doesn't matter what it is, if it has loot boxes, that is gambling, and that game should be by default rated 18 plus. And you know what? I agree. There's nothing about this situation where I can disagree. I think if your game, look, if you want to have loot boxes in your game, I'm totally fine with that. I don't think you should. I don't think we should ban the concept of loot boxes. I think if you start doing things like that, that gets into like a weird gray area where, you know, what defines a loot box? How do you actually classify what that really is? Now, this can certainly get into that situation where, you know, companies are trying to obfuscate what a loot box is, like what Diablo Immortal does, where you run the same dungeon, but you run it with crests you buy, and by equipping these crests, you will get better drops. It's basically a loot box with an obfuscation mechanic. It takes 5 minutes to run the dungeon, and you get random loot. But you have to pay to get that random loot, so it's basically a loot box, but it's not as obviously a loot box like a Fake Grand Order, like Genshin Impact, things like that. I think this is good. Like, if you want to do loot boxes, sure, do it. 18 plus, that's fine. And I feel like that would end up cutting, if other countries did this, like, if the US, if Europe did this, I know Europe's not a country, but, like, the European Union, if places like this did this, and just made it 18 plus, it wouldn't get rid of loot boxes, but loot boxes would become a lot less valuable because a lot less, you have a much smaller market where you could actually get that money from. And it would naturally disincentivize these being in the market. Now, my worry is if you disincentivize them, what happens then? Like, where do we go from loot boxes that keeps bringing in the money? And that's something I don't know. It's very likely NFT gaming. Yeah, it's very likely NFT gaming, which, considering the crypto market's in the shitter, maybe isn't that bad. Maybe they tried and be like, this is actually terrible. We're just losing money. I'm not fussed with, like, battle passes, for example. If, like, that's what you want to do, hey, go ahead. Whatever. Like, it's annoying that you have to pay for a thing every month or whatever, or every season, 3 months, 6 months, whatever they do. But it's a lot less of a big deal than, hey, you could buy this skin if we let you buy it, or we could just give it to you in-game. We're not going to let you do that, though. The only way you can get this skin, spend, you know, maybe $5, maybe $500, maybe $5,000. Maybe it'll drop at some point, especially if it's like a 5-star or an SSR or whatever their ranking system is. Yeah. If that's the way you're going to be doing it, it's gambling. It's gambling. It's fine. I kind of hope this gets a lot of attention in the gaming space. I don't know if it's going to. Because, you know, sometimes people care about what Australia is doing, sometimes people don't. Let's see if anyone's talking about it on YouTube. This did just happen today as I'm recording this, so it's very possible that no one's actually made a video on it yet. Yeah, I'm not seeing any any videos on it. There is a lot of okay, we have a article or a video from The Guardian from a few days ago, but but nothing recent. Like all the stuff here is from like multiple years ago. Yeah. But I hope this gets a lot of attention and I hope other countries follow suit. And I do hope this bill gets passed and we can just deal with having loot boxes in Australia. There was someone who left a really stupid comment on this article. Now most people, are in agreement that loot boxes probably should be like an 18 plus rating thing, but I'm going to show you the dumbest, like stupid copium comment I've ever seen. Right, because kids will never find a way to do things they're not supposed to online. But how would that even be fair within the games? The kids would be disadvantaged against adults who could be paid to win, so there would be a handicap. And so what would they do? They'll grind away for the better gear to stay competitive, so it may prevent them from gambling, but will encourage them to spend even more time playing games. No, because it's 18 plus, and the game can't be sold to them. That's what the 18 plus rating is. Now, there are certainly ways to get around that, and I got around it as a kid myself, but you can't, like, if it's a console game, for example, you can't walk into a game store and buy an 18 plus game if you're a 12-year-old. You just can't do that. And the same is true on like the Play Store, things like that. If your account is not an 18 plus account, you cannot get access to these things. Now, this does mean that parents actually have to be a parent and make sure their kids have a properly aged account and don't have like a fake 18 plus account. But that once again, that involves parents actually being parents. You can't just have the government like make this illegal and then it's just going to go away completely. It does involve some cooperation from the people who are supposed to be looking after these children and making sure they are not doing things that they shouldn't be doing. But if you want to like gamble your life away as an adult, like whatever, it's your money. I don't think you should, but it's your money, whatever. Like I'm not going to be able to stop like sports gambling or poker or slot machines existing, and I don't really think there's any reason to do so. Like I get it, it destroys people's lives, but if you're not gonna destroy your life like gambling, there's plenty of other ways to destroy your life as well, and there's not really any way to stop you doing that. Like if you're gonna destroy your life, you're gonna destroy your life, but I do think having more utilities available to, I guess, explain how this works, explain how it's addictive, things like that. Yeah, I think that's good. Also, here's another dumb copium take. Australia, right. That's a government you want in your video games. Oh, wait. Like, yeah, the Australian government is shit. And, yeah, we'll do a lot of dumb things. But I think in this case, this is a good thing. I think this is just universally a good thing. Let's see if we can find any other bad takes on this. Australia loot box law. Kotaku. Is Kotaku going to have any bad takes? Probably not Kotaku itself, but maybe in the comment section. Comments. Let's see. The same should apply to mystery box toys and trading cards. Both are designed in the exact same way to get kids addicted. That's an interesting one. Like, it is basically the same mechanic. I've not really thought about the idea of trading card mystery box toys. I think depending on the context, like, if it comes with, like, a Happy Meal, for example, and they just give you something, and then, like, a kid's not just gonna keep going back to McDonald's to get a Happy Meal. Like, their parent has to take them there. I think you could probably make a justification that they are just as bad. I think the difference with the, like, online gaming stuff is the fact that your game progression, like, there is like, with these trading card games, you don't have a some sort of progression system physically built into them. But with loot boxes in games, there is that progression system. Like, you get to the next stage in the game with these loot boxes. But I think you definitely could make a reasonable justification that trading cards are probably just as bad. And probably you should just sell an entire set of cards and nothing else. I wouldn't mind seeing something done about in-game currency either. It's deceptive and teaches kids bad practices. Okay, that's another interesting one. I don't think the idea of in-game currency, like currency you buy with in-game money, with real money, sorry. In-game currency you buy with real money, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that. I think the issue is more about the way it's dealt with. I think it's definitely much better to have it be a direct dollar value. Like, you want to buy, I don't know, 10 spins of the gacha. It's going to cost you $15, for example. I think that's certainly a better system, but the issue with the paid currency is when you have the obfuscation currencies and the weird incremental values. So, you have to buy gems, which will let you buy crystals, which will let you buy magic crystals, and magic crystals let you buy tickets, and then tickets will let you buy ultra tickets, and those can then be used to do a mega spin, and the mega spin has a chance of giving you back more crystals so you can keep the cycle going. Like, when you have those layers of obfuscation, that I can definitely agree is probably predatory. I think that's a fair assessment. And I think any game developer who's using these tactics would agree it's predatory, not because they don't like it, but because they think it's predatory and it's good for money. Especially game publishers. Maybe not game developers, but definitely publishers. Then there's the issue with the weird increments where you can't buy, let's say something costs 500 gems. You can't buy 500 gems. You can buy 200 gems. You can buy 400 gems. Let's say you can buy 200 gems. You can buy 630 gems. 953 gems. And there are these weird increments where you can never get exactly what you need. It's always going to leave you with extra gems, but not enough extra gems where you can, actually buy something. Let me find the Tower of Fantasy or Genshin Impact. I think I use the same Impact micro. I think they use the exact same numbering system. Here we go. Yeah. So you can buy 60 crystals, 300 crystals, 980 crystals, 1980 crystals, 3880 crystals, or 6480 crystals. Also, you get double crystals on. I think this is probably your first purchase. I haven't played Genshin before, but this is that's my assumption. Also, you would assume the biggest one is the best value, but that may not be the case. In this case, it's actually the middle one. So usually you think, oh, you buy more, you get a better discount. But no. It's not always the case. Systems like that are definitely predatory as well, and I think you can argue probably shouldn't be in gaming.